it's really okay, then nothing's going to change. So I think that's a big part of why we're all here.
Right, and that's exactly what we do. we're out there. Although, I certainly, in public, I don't run around saying, "Hey, I'm a transsexual."
No.
But I think that this is a good thing, and I'm pleased to be doing this. And certainly, the more people that know who I am, the less people I'm going to surprise. So maybe it's a good thing for me too.
Right. So in public, I think where we all are is just trying to blend in and into society as best we can, not raise eyebrows. We dress normally. We look normal.
Yeah.
We're just people.
No boas and sequins when we go shopping for food.
Well, mostly.
Well, but I think a lot of people have the expectation
of
someone like a RuPaul because that's what they've seen in the media.
That's right.
And it's just not the case.
Right.
It's interesting. That's actually this ability of ours to affect the public just by being in the public is one of those interesting points that makes the T different from the GLB.
Right.
That when you can be gay, lesbian, bisexual, and walk around the mall, and nobody will know. You're not wearing it on your sleeve.
That's right.
Someone who's transgendered goes and walks around the mall. Depending on how well they pass, there are obviously telltale signs, no matter how well you pass. And initially, not everybody passes that well. And you're out there, and people see it, and it's in their face, and even if you don't mean it to be.
Yeah.
It's much more public than
that's right. And
your sexual orientation.
We don't mean to do that kind of thing. We're not all about going out there and looking for public humiliation.
Right.
We're just trying to be who we are, and the whole thing about passing, which I don't really like. It's a term that we use, and we all use it, and certainly we go through a transition. So there's a time, typically early in our transition, where we do use that term a lot because we're trying to be. Basically, passing is when you blend in and you pull off looking like the gender that you're supposed to be. But eventually that term becomes sort of obsolete because once you've transitioned and I don't like that term because if somebody says that I pass, it's like, well, pass is what? I'm a woman.
Right.
Once you've transitioned.
But it is, for lack of a better term, it is something that we use, and those transsexuals that are early in their transition do have to be very concerned with that, and so it's one of those funny terms in a lot of the language.
It's unfortunate that we have to use some words like that. But just to talk about things and to communicate the ideas, you have to find language for it.
You have to use the verbal shorthand sometimes, though.
Which is exactly why we got into that argument with that woman who I know, who is a transsexual, who claims to be one of three in New London. It's like, well, I'm afraid that assumption would be wrong, But the argument over whether we're transsexual once we've finished our transition, it's like, I've heard both sides of this argument, and I don't completely disagree with her. I have stopped, for the most part. I mean, stop transitioning. I mean, you continue to transition for a long time, and the effects of hormones go on for a very long time. So,
well, as does the social transition.
That's right.
Goes on for a long time. Goes on forever, just like anybody else would.
But it winds up being a matter of semantics. And it's like, I don't really care. If it helps the people out there that don't understand us to understand us better, then we'll use these terms.
Right.
And that's our goal. So if somebody wants to disagree with our use of the terms, fine. But we're doing the best we can with that. And so don't hurt us too bad on that. Anyway, there was also an interesting thing that I wanted to mention that you had sent me, I think, and that was the Boston HRC Gala, which I think is I think it's this Friday, isn't it?
This Saturday, the
Or this
25th.
Saturday, the 25th, which is
The Human Rights Commission is having a gala dinner in Boston, and there's a group of folks who are looking to go protest the dinner.
which they should.
Basically, what had happened is a year ago, since we were talking about it earlier with the employment and discrimination, the Employment Non-Discrimination Act of 2007 was put forward by Barney Frank, and obviously the Human Rights Commission had a large part in supporting it and lobbying for it. And the goal was to have an inclusive Employment Non-Discrimination Act that would include sexual orientation as well as gender identity and expression. Right. And the short version of the story is that the trans community feels we've been sold out by the HRC. Barney Franks decided to pull gender identity and expression out of the bill in a political move to try and garner more support for the sexual orientation component. And the sexual orientation protections did get added to the Employment Non-Discrimination Act, and gender identity and expression was left out. The HRC, the Human Rights Commission, is basically used to be, has historically been our voice, our large lobby in Washington for human rights issues such as fair treatment under the law. And they were telling the GLBT community that they were supporting it, they were supporting an all-inclusive, and then they ended up supporting the non-inclusive version. And the HRC keeps scorecards on all the legislatures, and they told the legislatures that they would give them a positive rating if they voted for the bill and a negative rating if they voted against it, even if voting against it because it didn't include gender identity and expression. So there's a lot of folks out there right now that feel sold out, and they've been taking every opportunity to protest the HRC events around the country for the last year. This one on Saturday, there's a protest scheduled for as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make that, but
we have someone online.
We have somebody online
that may have an opinion on this.
Yes. Good evening, nlcTrans. You're on the air.
How you doing?
Hello.
I had a question. Another question. But you ladies are doing a real good job. It takes a lot of courage to be out there.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And then I got another question to ask you.
Okay.
You made me hungry. Which one of you girls going to cook a cheesecake?
I'll cook a cheesecake. I'm not sure.
Let me know that I can travel down that end of the country.
Oh, okay. Where are you? How far away are you?
I'm in Sterling.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a long haul.
Yeah, right next to the Rhode Island border.
Yeah. But yes, I make cheesecakes.
Okay.
We'll let you know on the air when we've got one here, so you can come down.
Okay.
Well, and we're talking about doing a fundraiser sometime in the future, and Callie will probably be conscripted to do some baking for that.
Oh, yes.
So that will be an opportunity for folks to come try her cheesecake.
That's a good idea.
And
we'll make cheesecake.
maybe her tiramisu.
Yes, that's always a big hit. That's one of my favorites. But I think it's just the Italian thing, But anyway, that's and cannolis. I do cannolis and various other things. I make a great apple pie. If I do say so myself. Okay, I'll stop. I'll probably do a cooking show at some point.
But gonna have to do a taped cooking show at some point.
Well, okay, yeah. Joe wants samples. We will bring you. I'll bring
them in.
We'll
set them up on the table, and we can show people Callie's cooking, Callie's kitchen.
And you.
Callie's calories.
Callie's calories. No.
Okay.
You have to stop thinking about calories when she cooks.
Oh God. Yes, I have gotten into lots of trouble for that one. I have been accused of making everybody fat, but that's the way it's supposed to work. You basically cook all this stuff and watch everybody eat it and get fat, and you don't.
And then laugh at them because you don't have any.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Callie licks the spoon. She doesn't eat any of her creations.
Oh, okay. But
No,
anyway.
you've explained that I cook, I don't eat. Cooking and eating are different
I'm
activities.
not anorexic. Don't get the wrong idea. God, I'm not.
But
by no means.
maybe we can get Callie to start cooking with